Wild and Out, how did you become a part of that?
Man, okay. I get asked that a lot. Hopefully,
I'm sure you do.
I can answer it definitively here. And then other people ask me, and I'll be like, you need to go check out my interview.
That would be awesome.
That would be dope, right? I found that some of the biggest opportunities in my career have not come from one strike of a rod. Like, it has been multiple strikes and different things that finally said, all right. It's kind of like they say with word of mouth marketing, it takes 3 touches. Wild and Out took me 5 experiences and 4 years. I'll abbreviate them. First experience, sitting in for an audition, nothing. Second experience, 2 friends of mine got called in for callbacks for auditions. They got told to come back tomorrow and be better at everything. Take this book, here's the games we play, do your homework. They called me, a few other people. The secret meeting happened, and we all played these games, and I was really good at the games. And I said, anything I said the last 3 hours, you can say, hopefully you get on the show. Unfortunately, both those people had amnesia after the fact once they booked it. Third thing, I met Niall Evans, one of the executive producers, pretty much the man who cast it. He's Mr. Wild and Out. If you don't think it's Nick, it's the 2 of them for sure. And met him and expressed interest in wanting to audition. Missed the auditions because I was out of town. Came back, found out that they did them. Because the way comics communicate in LA is you find out everything after. Oh man, it was crazy yesterday. Fam, I was with you yesterday morning. So when I got out the car, you got in your car and then went to the audition, but you didn't say nothing when we was together?
Ouch.
It's Dog Eat Dog. It's Pirates of the Caribbean. So that happened. The next year, I missed it again. But because I now knew Niall, I reached out and I said, come on. Allow me to come in and be told no. I'm not even asking for no clear path, none of that. Just allow me to come in and be told no. He's like, fine. You come in, you're gonna be in a conference room. It's gonna be me, 2 of my writers, my cousin gonna be filming it. Good luck. So I did a full audition, pretty much just me and Niall, with a couple writers who were hesitant to laugh because they're supposed to be the funny ones. And he said he was pleasantly surprised and he would send it up the pipeline to see what other people thought. And I didn't hear anything for a year. One of the other things that happened, which I think is one of the linchpins, I performed on a show at a casino in Washington State in the city of Tacoma, Washington. It's about 30 minutes south of Seattle. At the same time that I had humbled myself and took an internship at a radio station. The radio station throws a function called Summer Jam, which is in a lot of markets. But they used to throw Comedy Jam 10 years prior. So me being a comedian, me and the program coordinator, the director of all the music, he would reflect on, man, we used to throw the dopest comedy shows and we should get back to doing that. I was like, you should. I do comedy. I can be on it. I can book anybody you want in the country. I do this. He's like, you don't know everybody. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm humbling myself to be here, but I really do. If I don't know them directly through one call, I know everyone I need to know. If you have the money, no one's running from money. He's like, all right, fine. Nothing really comes of that. A month later, he says, hey, man, Nick Cannon's going to be in town doing a promo for, I think it was his headphones, at a couple local Radio Shacks, and they parlayed it into he was DJing at nightclub Trinity, and they're doing the Cube 93 Comedy Jam at the Emerald Queen Casino. You want to be on it? Of course. Can you book a couple of the guys? Of course, of course. Book a couple of the guys. Night of, I hosted. 2 other guys go. Nick Cannon headlines the show. After, he was like, you rocked. And I was like, I've been trying to get on Wild 'N Out for 4 years, fam. I've talked to Niall. He was like, oh, you talked to Niall already? I was like, yeah. He was like, take my card. Here's my numbers. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, wow, that's what's up. None of the numbers worked. A year passed. There was no love. I missed the auditions again. Again, being on the road. I'm like, yo, Niall, you know me. You could have just sent me a text. You could have just put it on Facebook. I would have seen it. I'd have flew back. Fuck that show I was at. And I'd have just auditioned. He's like, you know what? Come in tomorrow. This is your chance. You'll be working with all the new people that we already are fucking with. If you can hang, then we'll fuck with you. I was like, fuck. So I go in, and it's extremely competitive. People, you go in one day, and there's 20 people. You come back, there's 16. You go in another day, the 16 is now 12. You go in another day, the 12 is now 8. You come in the next day, and it's not just those 8, it's probably 6, and then all the veteran cast members come in, and they're trying to haze. Mind you, I got a background in comedy, so I've known Carlos Miller for years. So when they all came in the room mugging and stuff, I just picked Los up and started spinning around. He was like, come on, man, put me down, man. I was trying to be me. So I didn't have to deal with all the neophyte, hazing, pledging type feeling that it was supposed to be. Being a member of Omega Psi Phi, I was already like, look, there's nothing y'all could do. Let's just work. And it was love from then on. Met all the young bulls, the DC Young Fly, dope cat, young fiery cat with a really bright future. Me and Chico became boys, close enough to be checking on family and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Me and Big Baby, same way. So it wasn't just one thing. I wish I could say like, oh man, I just called the director up, he had me come in. Hell no. I was working on that from when I was 25 and didn't get on it until I was years later.
Yeah, I heard it's a tough process to get on.
It's no joke.
Not easy.
It's no joke.
Now, who's your Wild 'N Out? Oh, so 2000, the season 8 was your rookie season.
Yeah. So this is the thing. Season 8 is, I believe it's unique. I don't know the pattern of how they do it, but for the 4 years prior to season 8, they were on MTV2 in New York with a smaller budget. Season 8, MTV said, put it back on the main network. Let's give it a bigger budget, bigger cast, bigger stage, bigger everything. So instead of shooting what is usually like 9 or 10 episodes for a season, we shot between 21 and 22. So season 8 aired on television a year after we filmed it. They played 11 episodes, and then there was a 9 to 10 month hiatus. Then they played the other episodes. So even though it was season 8, my 5 episodes and my stand-up special have been replayed so much, people are like, I feel like you've been on there for years. You know what I'm saying? And I was blessed in a sense because we shot 20-some episodes and I had 5, but for some reason, some type of divine intervention, the 5 episodes I got were just like massive. Like, it's almost a toss-up. Like you grind, you show out, you show that you're funny, you show you're creative. They trust that you're not gonna drop the ball when the cameras are rolling and cost everybody money because you're whack. And then you get on an episode. And I shined through in all of them. I somehow got the Erykah Badu episode, which ended up being the first half season finale. It was a phenomenal episode. I got Travis Scott, who they didn't think was gonna be, was it Travis Scott, Travis Porter? Which one's the group?
Travis Porter is a group.
Okay, Travis Scott is a dude that's wild as hell, right?
Yeah.
Dude was hella cool. And we didn't know if he was gonna do it because sometimes the talent who's gonna perform the songs doesn't like playing the games. And sometimes the people who play the games are like, I don't feel like performing. So you'll watch an episode and you'll see a celebrity playing all the games, and at the end, a whole nother person performs. Travis Scott was like, I'm doing all of this shit. And he killed. And they put out that he was coming that day versus just, hey, we're taping Wild 'N Out, come to a random taping. There was so many dudes with baby dreads. And so it was his fans, you know what I'm saying? And it made it lit. He's the only person that got an encore performance. The fans were yelling for more Travis, more Travis. He came out, he got on a table, he rocked it, he was throwing champagne everywhere. It's stuff you can't see on the camera, you know what I'm saying? But it made for a dope-ass episode. And when I first got it, was like, damn, I want the T.I. episode. He had the band, and he had everybody came. It was like Atlanta and L.A. that day. And it didn't work out like that. So those 2 episodes, I got a K. Michelle episode. That one had K. Michelle, and Antonio Cromartie, Flo Rida, all on one episode. So it was massive. So I got a lot of the big ones, and it was a good look. It was a good look. Everybody who already fucked with me was super proud, and then the people who were like, "Who's the new big dude?" That worked out too.
Now, why aren't you on season 9?
Okay, so I'm not on season 9, right? Despite 8 being broken into really like an 8 and a 9, and then this being what I feel like is 10.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know what happened at network, but they made a decision to take it back to MTV2 and to take the budget down from what it had been at MTV1. And that played a role in some of the decisions of who was going to come back on for 9. So regardless of what I contributed or what I did or standing out or being a decent rookie, it just didn't pan out for me to be on season 9. It may have. I'm not sure because I don't know what's going on the other end of the phone and all that stuff. But what I do know is on my end, I was starting to get pressed for some gigs. I had Okinawa, Japan to go entertain the Marines, which comes around every 2 or 3 years. It doesn't happen all the time. And then I also had London. Comedian Ron G from Last Comic Standing has a really strong relationship with some promoters in London, and every year he goes for Easter and brings a comic with him. And I had gone 2 years before, and he was hitting me saying, "Hey, you want to go this year?" So when I reached out to Niall, great dude, by the way, really good dude. We're supposed to go shooting guns and fishing soon. I said, I got these international dates coming up, and I just need to know what I should block out on my calendar. And he said, "Just get your international on, homie." I bet. So I did. I went to entertain the Marines and went out to London, had a good time. Everybody's still good, copacetic. I'd imagine if we come back for a season 10 that I'd be considered. Not in like a, should we? But in a can we? Is he available? Can we afford? That kind of thing. But I don't feel any bad blood at all. Like, I know there's previous cast members that weren't brought on for other seasons, and then, they may not speak the highest of people who gave. Nah, I'm forever thankful for Nick. The credit, the moniker, the experience, it was all fire. It opened a little bit of crack that I needed in the door, and I've been kicked that bitch open now. We still kick it. I was just at a skate party Nick had during the BET Awards weekend. Everybody's cool. So it's love. Love from me. But yeah, I'm not on 9. Season 8, A and B, I guess you can call it.
As far as working with Nick Cannon, what's the biggest advice he's given you or the most important thing you learned being around him that you picked up?
He exemplified how much one person can do. For years I've been like, man, I need another me. I just need one that can chill and one that can hustle, or one can hustle over there and one can be over here. I just need more me. It's one Nick. And this dude is owning companies, running networks, starring on things, doing host jobs. I'm not bullshitting. When we were filming Wildin' Out, Nick was filming 6 consecutive shows. And people talk about Steve Harvey having a lot of shows. This shit was crazy, okay? It was nuts. Bro, he would film Wildin' Out. The artists that performed on Wildin' Out will go outside and meet with Deezus and Mero. Nick was on that show too. Then at night, he would go do stand-up shows. While everybody else was asleep, Nick would be out still performing stand-up, getting ready for a special that aired on Showtime. After he did his stand-up, his cameraman would fire up off the tripod, and he would do drops for Nickelodeon Teen Nick Award, Teen Top 10. That's all concurrent while he started to launch a YouTube show and was still doing the actual showing up and doing a Nickelodeon Teen Top 10. Like, you go to a beach and there'd be all the kids would be out there and he'd be hosting it at night. In the midst of America's Got Talent. I think that's 7. I had never seen anything like that. I was like, this is outrageous. Like, and this is all while not having the best health. Like, he's a great dude, but everybody knows he has health issues. And that was all in the wake of a recent divorce and announcing of having a new baby. And it was just a lot. It was just a lot to see one human juggle all that. And I'm a busy dude, but I was like, this puts a lot of things into perspective.
I don't know how he fit DJing into his schedule either, because I always wondered that.
Exactly.
I would see DJing gigs that he was booked for, and I'm wondering, how does he have time for this?
Like I said, he came into Seattle. He did a pop-up stop at the Radio Shack where he introduced his incredible headphones. He came down and did a comedy show with me. Later on that night, he went and DJ'd at a club called Trinity. This dude made 3 different revenue streams in it wasn't even 24 hours. He must have been on the ground in Seattle like 16 hours. Boom, he's out of there. And I'm like, yo, Nick, you still in town? He's like, man, I'm in Philly. What? When? The flight to Philly's like 4 hours. Yeah, it was 4 hours. Okay, man. You're a drone, dude. You're an android.
And he did some classes at Howard University.
How ridiculous is that? That in his
big
off
as-
time. In his off time.
As big as he is.
This dude is in a class on African American heritage, getting uplift about the people, all in the midst of all that. I'm like, who's taking the phone calls?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I always wondered how he was doing.
I couldn't focus when I was in college. If I had a text about like it's gonna be cracking tonight at this party, I'd be like, shit, fuck this class. I'm trying to get drunk for the party. This dude running 14 different corporations and studying. Yeah, it's nuts. It really is nuts. And he's sharp. It's not like I've seen like, child stars or certain talent where it's like, their people are doing all this. No, Nick is like, he's the one on the mic. He's doing it. Give me that drop again. Run it back. All right, I want it this way. Now, hold on. I didn't like how that one sounded. He's aware. He's aware. He's not above it. He's in it. He's on it. He's paying attention. It's something to behold. And another thing that I learned, I don't know if this is going to bust a stigma or whatever, but he's not corny. For years, I was like, oh, my God. Nick
People do
Cannon.
think that.
Oh, he's corny. Nah, man. He's a good dude, solid, loves family. He's just a good dude, got a good personality, has real bars. His music isn't just gigolo corny shit no more.
He also records music, too, as well. Yeah.
See? And I mean late nights in the studio. I'm like,
He
when?
released a single a couple months ago.
A couple months ago. Not only that, but they're doing a new thing right now with him, Conceited, Charlie Clips, and Hitman, where they're doing it's the only thing on his Instagram. It's all in black and white, and they're doing like they're bar for bar trading some of the coldest lines I've heard in a minute, back and forth over like beats like Ether and shit like that. Y'all should check that out. I think it's called like the Black Team something, but it's going.
Somebody watching this, let's say they're about to join the cast and become a member of one of the upcoming seasons of Wild 'N Out. Any advice you would give to a future castmate, a future person being on that cast, that stage? Anything you would tell them?
Yeah.
What's one piece of advice you would give?
So a lot of times when people give advice, it seems like it's coming from a place of maybe a pothole they stepped in. So they give advice like, hey, man, I messed this up, but just so you know, this isn't coming from that place. This is coming from a place of here's what I did and here's what worked for me and here's what, if you have a chance to seize the opportunity, what you should do. Don't fuck it off. Don't take it for granted. Appreciate the moments. Don't get caught up in surrealness of it. Work hard. Be first there. Be last out. Don't kick it. You film Wild 'N Out in such a short period of time that you can sacrifice the rest of that time. You don't need to be fucked up. You don't need to be smoking. You don't need to be out kicking it. You don't need to be getting no pussy. Every time you want to smoke, drink, have sex, or do any vice that doesn't add to your career, every time you get the notion to do it, you need to go write jokes. And that'll help you. Because when everybody else is doing that, you will be getting stronger and stronger. That way, when you're playing an improv game, which is 90% preparation, and something comes up and nobody has anything, your mind's already sharp. You may not say something that you already thought of from before, but you're the only one in the room that for the last however many days has consistently been focusing on that work, and you're ready with something. That's what worked for me, and that's what I'd recommend. That's it.